and I have the honor today to talk to Rebecca Malouf Franson. She is the creator of Camera Mama. She's also one of the mods there, and we wanted to talk with her a little bit today, ask her a couple questions. Hey, Rebecca, and just tell us a little bit about Camera Mama. They're doing such cool things over there. It's a really popular hub, and I mentioned to Rebecca via direct message that I'm kind of a geek and I track the hubs and their followers and their engagement and stuff. And Camera Mama is like way up there, huge momentum, huge growth, huge engagement. And I think it's because of the content that you guys are posting. It's just interesting and it keeps people coming back all the time. So a huge thank you to Rebecca for sharing a little bit with us today. And just tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, first of all. It's an honor, and I really love what you have created with Hub Hack and Photographer Hack. And I've already read a lot of the articles, and I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm
Cool.
not a tech person at all. I'm like, oh, good, we're doing well with engagement. I didn't know. But, so I live in Boise, Idaho, and I have 2 children and 4 stepchildren. And I have a photography business, Marikai Photography, and I do portraits and weddings. And my favorite is where I feel like I am. My true love probably lies with family photography, because I know that's what I personally value so much, is getting those pictures of my own kids and family captured forever. So, yeah.
Cool, very cool. So I have been curious about this for a while, and I was pronouncing it correct. It is Marikai Photography, but tell us where that came from, because your name is Rebecca Malouf Franson. So where does the Marikai come in?
Okay, so when I started my photography business officially, I've been doing it as a hobby for a long time. I was in the process of a divorce, and I didn't know what name I was going to go by. I didn't going to go to Rebecca Malouf, or if I was going to keep the name that my kids have, which is Walters. I didn't know if I would eventually get remarried, so I wanted to have a name for my photography business that didn't have to do with my name. So I was just brainstorming, and I was looking through. I have my grandmother's old Latin book from when she was in college, and has like 1938 written on the inside cover, and
that's cool.
So I was looking through Latin words to try to get ideas, and I came across, I don't know if it was in the book or through that, but that was what started the process. I found this word called Meraki, and it spelled slightly different, and then I started looking to see if there was a URL available with Meraki, and of course there wasn't, because they were all taken because of it's a word. So then I came up with an alternate spelling to it, and then I was still pronouncing it Meraki though, and then my web designer, she was like, oh, that's how you're saying it? My husband and I have been calling it Marikai, and I was like, oh, I like that better. So anyway, that's how it came about.
Okay.
But the Meraki means the essence of yourself and the love and passion that you put into your work. So
I like that.
It had that meaning, and because that's really how I do approach my photography business. Is I really love it, and it is a passion, and I love doing it.
Awesome. That is really cool. That's a cool story.
Thanks.
I like that story. I think I can't remember if I saw it on I think I was in a Facebook group recently, and someone asked, tell us how you came up with the name of your photography business if it's not your actual name. And people had all kinds of really cool stories that are interesting. So cool. One last name question, and you're not expecting this, but everyone wants to know this.
Okay.
Are you related to Adrienne the housewife?
Yes.
No. Really? Is that secret? Should I edit this out?
So Malouf is a Lebanese name. It originates from Lebanon, and you might want to cut this out. But in the 70s, my grandparents hired this genealogy detective. They and a couple other people with the last name Malouf to go into Lebanon, and Malouf was they were sort of aristocracy. I can't say that word. They were like um, they were, how do you say that name?
Aristocratic?
They were aristocrats.
They were high class folks. They were high
class folks. And so there were actually records in Lebanon they were in Arabic, of all of our family history. And the detective guy was gone for like forever, and they thought he just took the money and ran and was never coming back. But anyway, he did come back with tons of documents, and those documents were all translated into English. And my friend, whose name is Adrian, one day was like, "Are you related to Adrian Malouf?" And I was like, "Let me check." And so I looked up who her father was, and then I have a big giant book that has all the records that were translated. It's like huge, and I can look through and see where her father is and how I'm connected to her. And so she's from a different branch, but
okay, that's cool.
Sort of related.
That is pretty cool though. So you've got like this ancestry.com thing figured out too. So that's cool. Sorry, I didn't tell you I was going to ask that, but I was curious, and I think everybody. But you are. I remember. So part of your family is that your brother or sister-in-law has a sleep and a bedding business, which is pretty cool. So I remember that was on Camera Mama.
Yeah, It's my brother.
Your brother. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I guess.
I'm so proud of him because he's just built it from scratch. Total scratch.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Awesome.
Well, let's see. Let's talk about Camera Mama. So tell us a little bit about like how that idea started, and if anybody watching this isn't aware, the unique thing about Camera Mama as a hub is that you guys actually ask for how the shot was done, whether it's, how did you shoot that or how did you edit that? And I think that's why people really love your hub. So how did that idea come about?
Well, excuse me. One day last year, the day I started Camera Mama, one of my clients had said, "Hey, I want to start a lifestyle blog, but I need to know how to take better pictures just so I can post better pictures on my social media." And she said, can I come over to get a few tips? And I was like, sure, of course, So she came over, and then after she left, I was like, why isn't there something like this on Instagram? So I kind of like looked around, and I was like, there's nothing there. So I sat in my office for a couple hours, and I'm kind of impulsive. I'm like, if I have an idea, I just kind of go with it. I don't usually think about it too much.
Me neither.
So,
as you can tell. Yeah.
I just was sitting in my office for 2 hours, and then I came out and I was like, hey honey, I just started a new Instagram account and blog and all this other stuff. I got it on Facebook, reserved it everywhere, and I was like, so yeah. And so part of the reason is because I wanted to share what I know, and then the other reason is because I want to learn from other people. And I'm always super curious. I always want to learn. And I also really like how on Instagram we can learn bite-sized pieces of information. I always feel like I'm so busy and I don't have time to take like a long class or things like that. I mean, there's so many classes that I want to take, but I'm just going a million miles an hour. And I find that I don't make the time, although I should, to take like a long class. So I love little bite-sized pieces of information. And I have learned so much from the people on Camera Mama who have been generous enough to leave advice and information. For example, I use the brush tool in Lightroom all the time. I didn't even know about that. Like, I didn't know at all. And so I personally use the information and the tips that other people have shared. And so yeah.
Yeah, I've learned a ton as well. I'm always looking, and a lot of times I'll pull up the feed and kind of scroll down like, oh yeah, they featured that one. Let me see if they've what secrets they've divulged about the picture. But I have learned a lot of really cool tips, and I've had the honor of being featured a couple of times, and that's always so fun because you're like, oh, I get to share what I did to this picture. If I did something real crazy like replace the sky or something wild, so that's always fun to get to kind of share the before and after and what it looked like when you took it and what you were able to do with it is always kind of fun.
Well, and the other thing is that I had also started to recognize that as my photography business got busier, I started taking less and less pictures of my own children.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, approaching a client shoot versus photographing my own children just in a everyday environment is such a different mindset. And I mean, the Camera Mama community and the people that we feature give me inspiration, so I will pick up the camera, photograph my own children. So all in all, it's just really selfish because I just love being inspired by the people who are part of the Camera Mama community. So
yeah, definitely. And you mentioned the blog and the website. So if anybody hasn't been over there, it's cammama.com, and I'll link to it as well. But tell us, what do you put on the blog? Like, what could a potential reader or viewer see when they go to your website? Why should they come to your website?
Okay, so every week we have 3 different things. On Sunday, we post the theme of the week. It's also posted on our Instagram feed, but just in case it's not easy to find or whatever, you can always go there. And then we have two of our awesome mods, both named Kelly, actually. They one of them posts a tip of the week, and they go through and they pick a tip that they are particularly inspired by or they think would be particularly helpful to some other people as well. And that one is featured. And then we also have a theme roundup that's done, and it takes whatever the theme was the previous week, and she picks, I think, about five or six or so of the photos that were featured with that theme that also left some great tips, and that is highlighted there. And the reason why we do that and the way that came about is because I found myself constantly screenshotting all this advice.
I've done that.
Yep. And then when I would want to try it, I'd be like, where is that? It's like in my phone amidst all these photos, and I don't know where it is. So anyway, so that's why we have that. And we also have photographer features, and hopefully more in the future. So
cool. Yeah. And you have show off the mug, show off the coffee mug, the Camera Mama. That'll be on my Christmas list. That's awesome.
Yay!
Very cool.
Nobody has ordered one except for me.
Oh, for real? Oh, I love it. I remember seeing it there, and I was like, I need to get one of those.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I did it through Cafe Press. So
okay.
Anyway, I put it out there, but then I haven't really promoted it very much. But
ladies, it's on the Christmas list. Okay, tell your husbands.
Camera Mama mug.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's see. So you guys have a couple of different running themes. So you've got the Get In 52, right? And also the phone picks. So you've got your weekly theme that's announced every week. But then you also encourage us ladies to get in front of the camera, and that's an ongoing theme, which is Get In 52, and I'll put that hashtag down below as well. And then the phone picks too, which I find fascinating. I cannot take a good picture with my phone, and I have an iPhone, and I just can't. So I love seeing pictures, and I'm like, how did they take that with their phone? Like, how do people do that? So I love that one.
Well, the Get In 52, I really feel like it's so important for us to get in the picture, and I am very guilty of not doing that.
I'm super bad.
So when I see other people do it, it totally inspires me. And my kids are not little kids anymore. And sometimes when I see those amazing pictures that other people are taking with them in it, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done more of those with my children.
Yeah.
But I still do them now, and I have found a lot of tips from Laura from Laura's Lens on Life.
Oh, yeah.
In the picture, and I've done the bed shots that she does with cuddling with her kids in bed. And so once again, very selfish pursuit, because I need their inspiration.
I do too. I know it's terrible. Maybe I'll have my husband take a picture of me and the kids tonight in the backyard. So I know I'm bad about that too, because it's like I'm usually wearing a baseball cap. I did do my hair for you people today, but usually I'm running around all day. I normally don't gussy myself up very well, and I always feel like in a picture I have to look a certain way or whatever. But somebody posted a picture that I think y'all featured not long ago. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but literally in her caption, she was like, oh, I didn't shower and my hair looked bad. And it was the most gorgeous picture. And I was just like, wow, you really don't have to. And depending on how this shot is made, you don't have to look all fancy.
Well, and there's a user named Lollipop Swirl.
Yes.
And she does
Behind.
a series where it's her holding, she has a smaller child, holding her child, and it's in front of beautiful landscapes usually. And so, I mean, it's perfect for moms because you don't have to have your hair and makeup done. I mean, she always has darling clothes on. But so I've started personally doing a series like that. And then also, what's his name? It's the one where it's this
Follow
guy
Me
and his
Too?
girlfriend is always leaving.
Yeah, that's Murados Man.
Yes.
I will link to all that too. These are some awesome accounts to follow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that also with my children. So basically all that you're seeing is my hand.
Yeah.
But still I'm like, I was there.
Yeah. Now, are you doing that with like a little prime lens? You're not doing that with your phone. The Follow Me Too.
I think I have done it. No, maybe I've done it with my phone, but I'm doing it with usually I'm doing it with my 24 to 70 lens because I need it to be as wide of an angle as I can.
Isn't it heavy? Is it heavy for you to?
I just go like this and hope that it works.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll find some of those shots and I will.
If I had
They're
a
so
prime
cool.
lens that was that wide, I would probably opt for that definitely. But I don't have the widest prime lens I have is a 50, so
Okay.
that's a little too narrow. But I do know that Lollipop Swirl and I think also Murad or Follow Me Too use super wide angle lens. So that's definitely among my wish list items on my camera gear, which is never ending.
Oh, mine too. Yeah, mine too, definitely. Cool. I'm glad you mentioned that because that is one of my favorite things. I am a huge fan. I actually saw and again, I hope I'm not butchering it, but Murados Man, the Follow Me Too, the people that created that, I think I saw them on Good Morning America and I was like, wow. And I went to their page. They were one of the first Instagram accounts that I followed. This was a few years ago. So their stuff is amazing. Amazing stuff. So I'm going to try to keep it. I asked you a couple of questions before when we got started. I'm looking at my questions, but I wanted to keep this kind of short and sweet, but this has been fun. One thing I definitely want to ask you is, when you're modding, so when it's your turn to feature picture and you're scrolling through the hashtag, like how do you choose a picture? Like, is it just something that catches your eye, or what are you looking for when you're looking for a picture to feature?
Well, I, number one, am looking, I don't always have a ton of time to like really think about it. Sometimes it's just, oh, that caught my eye and that's it. But I do love finding photos that I wonder, how did they do that? I want to know how they did that. So number one, if there's something I want to learn from it, and hopefully they'll comment back and tell us. And number two, I have older kids. Like I said, our youngest is 7, and he's my stepson. And so I'm always personally looking for inspiration on how to photograph my older children. So that's always on my agenda, but there actually aren't that many people posting older kids. So, I mean, that's not like I have to have those things, and also I really try to feature people, not just feature people with these big, huge accounts and these big followings. I love finding somebody who has like 100 followers or 200 followers because I like just helping other people find them and share, and it's just great.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's always fun. And I mentioned this in one of my posts. Oh, I can't remember what it was exactly. Oh, I teased out that that a lot of the hubs this week were doing an under 1,000 or under 500. And you guys have done that several times where you guys have done a CM_500 or 1,000 to find these maybe newer Instagrammers it's usually somebody that's new to Instagram, right? And I
Yeah.
remember the first time I saw a picture by Loris, her username is, I'm going to butcher it, Lorasi Mill, and she does freelancing. And I remember the first time I saw one of her pictures, I was like, who is this? And I went to her gallery and she had like 73 followers. I was like, she must be new. She must be new because her stuff is amazing. So I love that too. And I think it is fun to see people that are newer and getting into Instagram because I think it's a fun place. It's so much fun on Instagram. Obviously I love it because that's what I'm doing this crazy thing.
I feel like I've totally found my Instagram tribe, so to speak. And I mean, demographically, I probably don't have a ton in common. I feel like I'm probably a good 10 years older than the majority of the readership and the majority of the Camera Mama community members, because I see lots of these little kids.
Yeah.
And they live all over the world and different interests, different everything. But I just feel like I found my tribe. Everyone has been so nice, so kind. We don't really focus at all on criticizing or critiquing. We're just all, hey, you took a picture. I mean, it's a victory to just take a photo, and there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just a way to share the joy of family, and that is also another motivation for me behind the Camera Mama Instagram account. I'm remarried, and I was going through a hard time as a stepmom. Being a stepmom is no easy task.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, my stepson's home from school sick.
Oh, no.
Anyway, but it was a very hard adjustment for me to be a stepmom. And I was like not seeing the joy in motherhood. I was just kind of down in the dumps. And I found Laura from Laura's Lens in Life, her account. And at the time, she had like 200 followers. And as you know, she now has like tens of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
But seeing her, the way she captured her children's lives, I have like some weird notification. There we go. Inspired me and made me want to find the joy in motherhood and find the joy in family life. So above all else, I think that is what Camera Mama is truly about, is finding the joy as parents. I mean, I know most of us are moms, but we welcome dads.
Oh yeah,
too.
There's some great dads out there too.
Yeah, awesome dads. And just finding, because it is no easy task to be a parent, and there are so many hard things, but to me, being able to find the joy in that is just really valuable to me. So
that resonates with me. I tell people I was not wired to be a stay-at-home mom. It's hard. My kids are 6, 5, and 3 right now. And I commonly tell people, I'm like, no one told me that being a stay-at-home mom meant that I was a full-time housekeeper. And my house is completely a disaster. Like you can kind of see, like I positioned myself in my background pretty strategically so that you didn't see what was behind me. But I agree with you, because I think I do get so much inspiration from the other amazing mom photographers out there. And it inspires me to want to take my kids out. I think I'm kind of a homebody too, but when we're home, they drive me bonkers and they destroy the house.
Yeah.
But I can take them to a pumpkin patch or an apple orchard, or we have these awesome themes that inspire you to get your kids out of the house and do something fun in a pretty location with pretty light, maybe. That's ideal. If it's golden hour, that's a great thing.
Bonus.
Yeah, that's always good. But I totally agree. I think it has inspired me to find the beauty in the everyday mom stuff when it can be hard and it can be tedious and challenging. So,
and I guess that I should add, that's another thing I look for when I'm trying to feature photos. Like, of course, if you're in an exotic location on this fabulous vacation, or if you happen to live in some gorgeous mansion or whatever, of course your pictures are going to look amazing.
Yeah.
But I love finding those photos that when I see them, they make me recognize the beauty and joy in just everyday moments, no matter if you're in the middle of your messy house or what. So that's another thing that I look for. And I want people of all levels and of taking pictures to feel like they're welcome, because I also think, even though I love learning advanced techniques sometimes, I think there's so much beauty in just basic things. And, sometimes it'll be a picture that somebody took from, like, I remember there was a picture someone took really close down on a log, and it was just their child's foot. And I was like, that's so cool. And I think they took it with their cell phone, and the camera lens was, instead of being up here, it was like, so the lowest possible. And
Okay, yeah.
I love those little practical tips on how to capture our children's childhood. So, yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm very long-winded. I didn't help you make this very quick.
I am too. I'm very verbose. That is definitely one of my weaknesses. We said we would keep it short.
Feel free to edit away.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll have like a short cut edit, but I think the whole conversation has been fun, and if somebody wants to stick around and watch the full version, I think I should post that, because I think we've talked about some fun stuff. But with that said, I know I didn't get to all of I sent Rebecca a list of some questions or whatever, but we just kind of had a conversation, and that was super fun. And so I want to thank you so much. I will link to all of the accounts, to the Camera Mama website, Facebook page, all that stuff below in this post. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. That's so exciting.
Thank you. And I would be remiss to not mention that I think a big part of the Camera Mama success is because we have awesome moderators. And there is no way I could do this on my own. In fact, I was just telling you before we started recording that at this time last year, it was just me, and I was so overwhelmed with my own workload from my clients. I stopped posting on Camera Mama for 2 months, and a couple of people reached out to me, Amanda from Bella KJ and Laura from Laura's Lens on Life, and she connected me with Haley from Candid Childhood, and with their help, I was able to find moderators to help. And I just feel like I have been just so lucky to find the best people.
You guys have great mods.
I mean, that definitely makes a huge difference, and Camera Mama would not be where it is without those awesome mods. So I must mention that, even though I've already been so long.
No, that's okay. And you know what I'll do too is I'll link to the mods, because each of the mods have their own Instagram account, obviously. So I'll link to them too. So if you're not following one of these mods, definitely give them a follow, because they're all super talented in their own right as well.
I just love how authentic and real they are, and I just think I just lucked out with lots of amazing people on the team. So
cool. How many mods do you have, just out of curiosity?
I think we have like 13. Okay. I have it set up, including me. I have it set up so that, some of the mods only post once a week, and some of them have posted more in the past. I really feel like family is always first, and I have it set up so that hopefully it's not a burden on any one person, and if they happen to forget to post something, it's not a big deal. Like, because I don't want it to be, I'm not getting paid anything. They're not getting paid. Right now, we're just, all just doing this for the fun of it. And I just want it to be, number one, not a burden on their families, to enhance their lives and not be a burden on it. So that's why I have so many, because then it kind of evens, it makes it so it's not too much for any one person. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.